Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today for this deep dive. Something I think a lot of us think about is how to raise good humans.
That's a big one, right? Like how to equip them for life and all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Make them those kind of people who can really face challenges, but, also make a positive impact on the world around them.
Well, it's a question that's been around forever, but luckily there's actually research on this, like in the field of character education.
Okay, so like we're talking about teaching kids values, right?
Exactly. Things like kindness, respect, and responsibility.
I feel like those are things we all want for kids, right? But it's like, how do you actually teach that?
Right. It's not always obvious.
No, it's not like it feels kind of abstract.
Yeah.
But,
But, it turns out these values are like really crucial for success in life. I mean, it goes way beyond just getting good grades.
oh, really? So there's proof that like being kind actually helps you succeed.
There's a Harvard study that actually found that young adults who practice kindness and empathy were 40% more likely to be satisfied with their lives and careers later on.
Wow, 40%, that's huge.
It is. It shows that these values are actually really practical tools for navigating life.
Okay, I like that analogy, like a toolkit for life.
Yeah.
So how do each of these values like act as a tool?
Well, think about it. Kindness helps kids connect with and understand other people. Respect helps them build positive relationships and responsibility. Well, that's all about owning your actions and learning from mistakes.
Okay, so it's like giving them a foundation for interacting with the world.
Exactly. And those skills benefit them in every aspect of their
That
lives.
makes a lot of sense. So let's break these down one by one. Then let's start with kindness. We often tell kids to just be nice, but how do we go beyond that? Like make it something they actually live by.
Well, one of the most powerful things we can do is actually model kindness ourselves.
Yeah.
Kids are always watching us. They see how we react to things.
Oh yeah, they pick up on everything.
Exactly. So when we show patience, when we're frustrated, or we help someone in need, or even just give a genuine compliment,
Mhm.
we're showing them what kindness looks like in action.
So like those everyday things actually make a difference.
They really do. And another important piece is encouraging empathy.
Empathy, like putting yourself in other people's shoes.
Exactly. We can help kids do that by asking them questions like, how do you think your friend felt when that happened? Or what could you do to make them feel better?
I see. So it's not just about actions, but about understanding how those actions affect other people.
Right. And there are lots of fun ways to make kindness a habit. Have you ever heard of kindness jars?
Kindness jars, no. What are
It's
those?
really simple. You get a jar, have the kid decorate it, and then every time they do something kind or even just think of something kind they want to do, they write it down and put it in the jar.
Oh, that's cool. So it's like a
Yeah.
visual reminder of all the good they're putting out there.
Exactly. It turns kindness into a tangible thing.
I love that. Okay, so we've got kindness covered. Now, what about respect that feels like the foundation for healthy relationships?
It really is. And, the cornerstone of respect is actually active listening.
So it's not just about telling them to listen, but about really showing them how to do it.
Exactly. When we genuinely listen to kids, it shows them that their thoughts and feelings matter, and that's how we model respect.
It's like that saying, right? Actions speak louder than words.
Exactly. And another important part of respect is embracing diversity.
You mean like exposing kids to different cultures and experiences?
Yeah, exactly. Through books or travel, or even just having conversations about different perspectives.
Hmm.
It helps them understand and appreciate people who are different from them.
It's like widening their worldview, right?
Exactly. And of course, we can't forget about boundaries and consent.
Okay, yeah, that's a big one. How do we teach kids to respect boundaries?
It starts with the basics, teaching them to ask permission before using other people's things, respecting when someone says no, and understanding personal space. Those are all fundamental building blocks. And those skills, they aren't just for interacting with other kids. They're really essential for navigating any social situation throughout their lives.
It's like setting them up for success in relationships in all aspects of life.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've explored kindness and respect, which are two really important tools for life. But what about responsibility? How do we help kids develop that sense of being dependable and owning their actions?
One really effective way is to give them age-appropriate tasks and chores. Simple things like cleaning up their toys, setting the table, helping with the laundry.
So even those little contributions can make a difference.
Absolutely. It gives them a sense of ownership and shows them that their actions contribute to the family or the household.
Mm.
And as they get older, you can gradually increase the responsibility. Maybe they start managing their own laundry or taking on more complex tasks.
So it's like building their confidence and their skills in the same time.
Exactly. And another key aspect of responsibility is encouraging a growth mindset around mistakes.
What do you mean by that?
Well, we need to teach kids that it's okay to mess up, but it's really how they handle those mistakes that matters.
So like instead of getting discouraged or blaming others, we want them to own up to their mistakes and learn from them.
Exactly. When they take responsibility for their actions, they learn to reflect and figure out how to do things differently next time. And that's such a valuable skill for life, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's like turning those slip-ups into opportunities for growth, which is something we could all use a reminder of sometimes.
I agree. It's a lifelong journey for all of us. And to help kids build those good habits, routines, and schedules can be really helpful. Think about things like consistent homework time, regular chore times, things like that.
So a bit of structure actually helps foster responsibility.
Yes, definitely. Routines help kids develop accountability and independence. Responsibility becomes just a normal part of their day-to-day lives.
Okay, so we've covered kindness, respect, and responsibility. These feel like really essential foundations for raising, good people. But is there anything else we need to consider?
There is one more piece, and it's a big one. We need to recognize that character education doesn't happen in isolation.
What do you mean?
Well, think about it. Kids are constantly interacting with so many different people, parents, teachers, family, friends, community members, and all of those interactions shape their values.
So it's like creating a whole community that reinforces these values.
Exactly. When kids see that kindness, respect, and responsibility are important to everyone around them,
Mhm.
it creates a really powerful support system.
I see what you mean. It really does take a village.
It does. It's a collective effort. And when we all work together, we can make a huge difference in shaping the next generation.
It's amazing to think about the impact we can have both individually and as a community. This has been such an insightful deep dive. I feel like I'm walking away with a lot to think about and some concrete ideas to try. But before we wrap up, is there one key takeaway you hope our listeners will hold on to?
If there's one thing I really want people to take away from this, it's that you have the power to make a difference.
That's encouraging to hear. Because I think sometimes it feels like, what impact can one person really have?
I get that, but it's true. You don't have to be a teacher or a parent or anything like that to instill these values in the kids around you.
Yeah, that makes sense. We can all be role models in our own way.
Exactly. And it's really the everyday things that matter.
Yeah.
How you treat others, the choices you make.
So it's about like walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Yeah, exactly. And, it's not about being perfect. None of us
Yeah,
are.
good, because I'm definitely not.
Right. But it's about trying your best, being mindful about your actions, and really committing to living a life that reflects those values.
Hmm.
Kindness, respect, responsibility.
I like that. It takes the pressure off a bit, right? It's not about being perfect. It's about striving to be better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, the great thing is that this isn't just about teaching kids. It's about all of us.
What do you mean?
Well, character education. It's a lifelong journey. We're always learning and growing and reflecting on ourselves.
Oh, that's a good point. So it's like we can all benefit from these ideas no matter our age.
Exactly. It's about becoming better humans ourselves
Mhm.
and in turn, inspiring others to do the same.
I love that. So it's like a win-win. We become better people and we help create a better world around us.
Exactly. And, that's where the real magic happens. It's that ripple effect spreading outwards.
This has been such a great conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. I know our listeners are going to find this really valuable.
My pleasure. And remember, even the smallest acts of kindness, respect, and responsibility can have a huge impact. Don't ever underestimate your power to make a difference.
Those are definitely words to live by. Well, that's all the time we have for today. But for our listeners out there, we'd love to hear from you. How do you practice and teach these values in your own lives?
Yeah, share your thoughts and stories with us online. Let's keep this conversation going.